We're here at Very Vintage Bridal, and I'm here to ask some questions of Anne, who... This is Anne from Very Vintage Bridal. So Anne, how did your business start?
Well, about 6 years ago, I had had my first child, and I'd been collecting wedding dresses, vintage wedding dresses, since I was in my teens, and I'd got a lot of them from friends and family. And we decided, right, let's look and see if this is a possible business. And as it turned out, there was no one else actually in the Northwest who was offering vintage, genuine vintage wedding dresses, which I'd noticed when I got married that it was just a real gap in the market. So we decided, right, let's do it, let's give it a try. And here we are 6 years later, still giving it a try.
And where did you get your wedding dresses from?
All over the place. As I say, the first one started as a private collection, which I got from friends and family. And as I started to advertise the business, people started to approach me to sell dresses to me. That still carries on. I get a lot of brides selling me either their wedding dress from when they married kind of 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago, or I get family members and friends of ladies who've married and coming to offer us their wedding dresses, which is wonderful. I usually get to find, it's wonderful, I get to find out the story, I get to find out who wore them, sometimes we get a picture. So it's really nice buying on that one-to-one basis rather than buying kind of big job lots. We do get quite a few from vintage boutiques who will perhaps buy 20 dresses at auction, and usually in that there's usually a couple of wedding dresses in there, and they don't necessarily have the skill or the wish to kind of sell those on. It's where us having a boutique is really an advantage. Brides don't necessarily want to go to 20 different vintage boutiques to look at 30, 40 different dresses. They can come to us and see a full collection in one place.
And how many do you have in your collection at the moment?
Oh goodness, well that depends whether you count the ones that I haven't restored yet. The ones that are restored and ready for sale, I have over 80. But if you include the ones that aren't yet restored or cleaned or ready for on the rack, we've got well over 100 in total. Yeah, so we have quite an extensive collection.
And which one is your favourite dress?
Oh my goodness, it's too hard to choose. I couldn't choose one favourite. My favourite era is the era we specialise in, which is the 1930s and 40s. So we have kind of 20, 30 or more gowns from that era, and I would say I love them all.
Wow.
I absolutely adore them. I love the fabrics. You just can't recreate those beautiful Nottingham laces, the gorgeous bias cut shapes, and the satin and the parachute silk that is iconic of the post-war years and the war years, and they're just absolutely beautiful. I think they really bring in that old Hollywood glamour feel that you just don't see in modern bridal wear.
Yeah.
I love them. They really are like my own children. I love them to bits. They really mean the world to me, and I with my 30s and 40s gowns in particular, I do cry a little tear sometimes when they leave, and I'm so happy when a bride finds a dress she loves. But there are some that when I say goodbye, I do cry a little bit inside. I do get attached to them.
What's it like working with these brides that come to visit you?
Oh, they're fabulous. They're wonderful. Our brides, they make our business. They really do, and they are what I love. I'd say I love them more than I love the dresses, which is saying something. They are just wonderful people, and I find that we have that big thing in common, that we love vintage. You know, brides come to me for that genuine vintage, so we always know we have at least one thing in common. And I'm still in touch with brides that I've had for years. I get to find out what's happening in their life. I love it. We stay in touch on social media. I love to see their wedding pictures. I love that. That's amazing when they send me their pictures and I get to see the dress on the day. It's fabulous. And I have actually been invited to a couple of weddings as well. Yeah, I think because we provide such an all-round service, and we really do put our heart and soul into it. We become part of the wedding almost, and we love that. We love being able to support brides.
And what about your wedding day? What was your wedding dress like?
Oh, my wedding dress was absolutely beautiful. Like I mentioned, I wanted a vintage wedding dress. I got married in 2010, but they weren't out there. They certainly not up here. There were shops in the southeast, but it meant a real punt, and I mean, I was slimmer then, but I was a size 10 to 12, and from my research then, very few were available in that size that were genuine vintage. So I kind of opted to have mine made in a vintage style, and I went for a beautiful 1950s style dress, full length, very full skirted, beautiful. I told the woman who made it, I love bows, I love pearls, just do something with bows and pearls. So it had an amazing, massive bow on the hip, which I adored. It was just fabulous. And it was decorated with hand beaded pearls. It was absolutely stunning. But I would have loved a genuine vintage one, and I just couldn't find it. And it really made me sad that it wasn't available in this part of the country and in my size, which is why we really promote the fact that we do source gowns in larger sizes. I really make that my priority because they are out there. You know, yes, some of them are really small, and that's wonderful, and that's part of their charm, but they are out there. You can find larger sizes, and I do track them down because I think it's important that we can offer something to every bride.
And what would you say is the biggest challenge of running a bridal shop, a vintage bridal shop in particular?
Oh my goodness. So the biggest challenge I would say is the dresses are a real challenge. They are like naughty children. They give me problems all the time because they have real age. They do have imperfections. They do need work, and once you sort one problem, something else appears. You mend a hole in the lace and another one appears, and they are really hard work, but it does mean that we put absolutely our heart and soul into them, and I don't love them any less for being such hard work. You know, they do keep us on our toes, and I have a wonderful seamstress who works with me who's fantastic, and we work together to kind of make the best of them, but they are definitely the challenge.
And what makes a Very Vintage Bridal different from every other bridal shop?
Well, the obvious one is that we do genuine vintage. We don't do vintage style. It's not vintage inspired. I think we really cater to those brides who really want that genuine, one-off, different dress that you're not going to see, that's not run-of-the-mill, which is great, and I think we love providing that service. I think what really makes us different, because there are other wonderful boutiques who do genuine vintage, none in our area, but it's lovely to see that it is actually a growing business, that there are other businesses out there doing the same. What we pride ourselves on is our customer service. We don't just prioritise the new brides who are coming through. We really support our brides right from day one, right from that first visit to the boutique, right through to when they get married, and even afterwards. You know, we've mended damage that's been done on the wedding day. We've helped them find an appropriate cleaner, or I've actually cleaned dresses for brides myself after their wedding, so that they can keep their gown and store it properly. We really pride ourselves on that full support and getting to know our brides, and not just kind of in, out. We offer 3-hour appointments as standard. There's no pressure, there's no rushing. You're not made to feel like, right, our next bride's coming, you need to go. It's just relaxed and fun, and that's the service we want to provide from day one right through to after the wedding.
Well, that sounds very lovely, and you're obviously very passionate about it.
Absolutely.
And if anybody would like to know more or see any pictures of the vintage bridal dresses that are available at the moment, the link for the website is below. Thank you, bye-bye.
Thank you very much.